Hi everyone, I'm Lucas Kwiatkowski. I'm a full-time Amazon PPC manager. This is your first time here. The idea of the videos is to go over much more advanced strategies and just sort of share my thoughts and my process of setting up new campaigns and kind of the strategies that I use. I think with PPC, it's not always one thing works for everybody. So I'm trying to share all of my strategies with you guys so you can test them out on your campaigns and just have some more tools to work with. So I really appreciate the feedback, and I hope that you enjoy this one. For this one, I want to go through more specifics on launching products with PPC. I think this has really become a pain point for a lot of people. Just launching products in general. Before, it used to be a lot easier. You could do giveaways and all that stuff. But now people really need to rely heavily on PPC to get that initial traffic to their listing. So there's the generic things that you should be doing when launching. Always set up your automatic campaigns, and then you can set up your manual campaigns with the keywords that you want to target. That's what most people will do, is have one auto and one manual and just sort of let the keywords start to roll in. But I think what I've been seeing more success with recently is knowing the keywords that you want to target right off the bat, the high volume keywords that you're shooting for, that are in your title, that you've looked at for your competitors, and you want to make sure that those are getting the most attention. So what I would do, and what I have been doing with launching products recently, is to have sort of two manual campaigns set up. You have your auto. Don't forget about the auto. That's the first step you need to do to pull in the search terms. But for manuals, you should have a research campaign and then more of an aggressive, exact match, high volume targeted campaign. So the research campaign would be exactly that. You still don't know exactly what keywords are going to convert. So you do your keyword research, you see what's going to work, and you kind of let that run. But on top of that, you should also have, I would say, 7 to 10 high volume keywords that you are targeting very aggressively. And you want those in their own campaign so that they have their own budget and they're kind of doing their own thing and not getting interfered with all of your research keywords. So just to kind of walk through an example of what I would do if I'm launching a brand new product, my SEO is completely done, and I'm starting a PPC campaign. Now, I'm still using the example, a bamboo fountain. One good tip here is when you go to set up a manual campaign, these suggested keywords. Now, you'll see if you have a product that the SEO isn't great on it, these suggested keywords will be pretty bad. They won't be relevant. They'll be like, sometimes they'll be single words or two words. But Amazon actually gets these from what keywords you're already ranking on. So if you see a good list of keywords here, very long tail keywords, this means that your SEO is doing its job. And that's where Amazon is pulling these. But on the other hand, these can be sort of dangerous because a lot of people just come in here and they add all of these keywords, all of these broad keywords to their first manual campaign. First of all, a lot of these are too broad and they're not relevant, like cat, water, fountain. This is not for cats. Now, it might do okay on that organic keyword for some reason, but I would not want to drive more PPC traffic to that. So I think this is a good initial test of how your SEO is, because if you come in here, you'll see that there's bad examples where there's just going to be very non-relevant keywords. So this is a really good tool to see what the keywords Amazon already thinks are related to your product. What I would do here, I would strongly advise on adding all of these. Now, maybe you can go through and add 20 or 30 of these that are going to be relevant, but if you add all of them, it can get pretty messy. So what I like to do here is use these as sort of seed words for some keyword research. And this is going off of my idea of the last video of kind of the single keywords. but this is going to be 2-word phrases and 3-word phrases that are patterns. A lot of PPC is just finding patterns in the data. So you can see here that, water fountain, water fountain, water fountain, water fountain, fountain indoor, water fountain. All of these have either water fountain or fountain indoor as a phrase in there. So I would come over to merchant words and type in water fountain just to get an idea of what we're looking at here. Dog, cat, pet, water fountain, pump. This one happens to have a pump in it. So one good thing that I've been seeing great results with is doing a sort of campaign with your most common 2-word phrase from all of the keywords that you've done. So say you compile a list of 100 keywords and then you find that water fountain is in 60 of them. If you bid on that in phrase match, that's going to be a very powerful research tool. All right, so you could add that maybe just as a phrase match because you know that this water fountain is in most of the keywords that you found. But another thing that you want to always get ahead of, so you add this here. I would keep it pretty low, and then you can always come back later. And then the thing here is if you're just going after this phrase, you can see here that dog, cat, pet. This is not for dogs, cats, or pets. So this is another thing that you always want to remember is negative keywords are just as important as the actual keywords. So always try to get ahead of those if you're just launching. When you're doing your keyword research, don't just pull the files and throw them in here. Really look at it and look for the patterns. Look for the negative patterns and also the, I guess you could call them the positive patterns. So this would be kind of one way to do another research for PPC, where you're only focusing on anything that involves your most common phrase, so you have a better idea of what you're going to get in that campaign. Now, on the other hand, let's remove this. The other campaign that has been working for launching is, like I mentioned, the highest volume exact keywords. So if we just type in fountain here, I'm looking for ones that really stand out, very high volume. Another thing, fountain pen comes up a lot. Add that as a negative. Chocolate, add that as a negative. Just do it. It's going to save you later down the road. So I'm looking for the first keyword that sorts of relate. Waterfall fountain would be somewhat relevant. And then I think there's one more in here. Zen fountain. So Zen fountain is a very high volume keyword, and we're selling a bamboo fountain. So the searches for, and guys, I know that this search volume has gotten a lot of a bad rep. It's not exact, but you can still use it as a reference point. You can say, okay, this is estimated 21,000. Zen fountain was estimating 94,000. So Zen fountain is 4 to 5 times more likely to be searched for. You can still use it as a reference point. Well, this is kind of my idea where our bamboo fountain is only going to get 20,000 searches, which is a much lower percentage. So you want to find those 8 to 10 exact keywords where, Zen fountain, also add water fountain in as an exact. And then the other one I think was like waterfall fountain. So for these, you add these in as exact and you use this. This is when you would start to use these placement bids again, because these are the keywords you're targeting. And what you want to do with these keywords once you've found them is use them in your title. That is the biggest thing when launching, is if you're going after the keyword Zen fountain, you better have that keyword in your title. And you really better have the exact keyword water fountain in your title. And what happens when you do that is you'll see a much higher click-through rate. When people are reading through your title, they see the exact word that they're searching for. That is the biggest thing when launching, is to find, and in your title, you can't fit that many words. So that's why you need to keep it lean and you need to keep it very high volume for the ones you're targeting. So I would do these, I would set these up, and you should have about at least 5 of these. So, you know, garden fountain and stuff like this. So these are going to be in their own campaign using maybe these placement stats to get them to the top of the page. Whereas in your research campaign, you're going to have 30 to 40 keywords that are more long tail. They're not going to get as much volume. And those you're seeing, okay, do these work or don't they? These are the ones that you really want to work and you want to target aggressively. So I think those are 2 different strategies I've been using. Again, always have your auto campaign, always have your research campaign that's got your broad and phrase keywords. But these 2 different sorts of campaigns where you have your high volume exact that are the ones in your titles and you're bidding for more aggressively. And then also, like I mentioned, that the 2-word phrases. It's more of that forced research campaign where you're telling Amazon, I want to find all of the search terms that involve this 2-word phrase. It just it cuts out a lot of the steps and can kind of make this process faster to find the keywords that are going to convert. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope that you are at least testing these out and they're starting to get some results for you.